The trial of Socrates, one of the most significant events in the history of Western philosophy, took place in 399 BC in Athens. Socrates, a classical Greek philosopher, faced charges of impiety and corrupting the youth. This trial not only marked the end of his life, but also set a profound example of intellectual integrity and the philosophical quest for truth. The details of the trial and Socrates' defense are primarily recorded in the works of his students, Plato and Xenophon. The historical context to understand the trial of Socrates. It is essential to appreciate the historical and social context of Athens at the time. Following the Peloponnesian War, Athens was in a state of turmoil. The war had resulted in a loss of power and prestige for the city-state. In this environment, there was a widespread search for scapegoats, and individuals who were seen as challenging traditional values or causing dissent were particularly vulnerable. Socrates was known for his distinctive approach to philosophy, characterized by his dialectical method of inquiry, commonly known as the Socratic method. This method involved asking probing questions to stimulate critical thinking and to illuminate ideas, while Socrates claimed that his purpose was to seek wisdom and truth. His manner often exposed the ignorance and pretensions of those he questioned, which made him unpopular among many powerful Athenians. The charges against Socrates. Socrates was charged with two main offenses: impiety against the pantheon of Athens and corrupting the youth. The official charges brought by Meletus, Anytus, and Lycon were 1. Failing to acknowledge the gods at the city. 2. Corrupting the young men of Athens. The first charge suggested that Socrates was promoting atheism or heterodox religious beliefs, which was a serious offense in a society that valued its traditional religious practices and the unity they provided. The second charge accused him of morally corrupting young Athenians by encouraging them to question and challenge authority, which was seen as destabilizing. The trial. The trial of Socrates was a public affair held in the democratic courts of Athens. It began with the prosecutors presenting their case. Meletus, the principal accuser, argued that Socrates' philosophical practices were undermining the religious and moral fabric of Athenian society. He depicted Socrates as a dangerous influence on the young, leading them away from the accepted norms and beliefs. In his defense, Socrates argued that he was not an atheist and that his philosophical inquiries were in service of a divine mission. He claimed to be guided by a divine inner voice or daemonion, which directed him to question and seek truth. Socrates maintained that his questioning was intended to benefit Athens by encouraging critical thinking and virtue. Leading to political instability and social unrest. Socrates also addressed the accusation of corrupting the youth. He argued that corrupting the youth would be illogical and self-destructive, as it would ultimately harm him by creating a society of immoral individuals. He suggested that if he had unintentionally corrupted anyone, he should be instructed and corrected rather than punished. The verdict and sentencing. Despite his eloquent defense, Socrates was found guilty by a jury of approximately 500 Athenian citizens. The margin of his conviction was relatively narrow, suggesting that there was significant support for his ideas, even among his contemporaries. Following the guilty verdict, the jury had to decide on the penalty. According to Athenian legal practice, both the prosecution and the defense proposed penalties. The prosecutors demanded the death penalty. In a provocative and ironic move, Socrates initially suggested that he should be rewarded for his service to society by being provided free meals for life. However, he later proposed a fine, which was rejected by the jury. Ultimately, the jury sentenced Socrates to death by consuming a cup of poisoned hemlock. Socrates accepted the verdict with composure, continuing to engage in philosophical discussion until his final moments. The legacy, the trial, and subsequent death of Socrates have had a lasting impact on philosophy and the concept of intellectual freedom. Socrates became a martyr for the cause of free thought and expression, inspiring future generations of philosophers. His method of inquiry laid the groundwork for Western philosophical thought. Dialogue and the relentless pursuit of truth. Plato's dialogues, such as Apology, Crito, and Phaedo, serve as primary sources for understanding the trial and Socrates' philosophical ideas. These works highlight the ethical and moral dimensions of Socrates' thought, portraying him as a man who lived and died according to his principles. In conclusion, the trial of Socrates was not merely a legal proceeding, but a profound cultural and philosophical event. It illustrated the tension between new ideas and traditional beliefs, the fragility of democratic institutions, and the enduring power of intellectual courage. Socrates' legacy continues to inspire and challenge us to seek wisdom and to live with integrity, emphasizing the importance of questioning